everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Monday, November 11th. On today's show, we visit Lilly & Company Jewelers on Sanibel to learn about two exciting events. And in honor of Veterans Day, we'll get the unique stories of two Shell Point veterans, Bud Keim, who fought in Germany during World War II, and Herb Wilcox, who spent the Korean War in, of all places, the Italian city of Trieste. But first, today brings our signature event for the fall. It's the Festival of Heroes. The festivities begin today at 10:30 a.m. when we commence our Hometown Hero Parade, featuring marching bands, honor guards, the Sheriff's Department, and many more. They'll wind their way around the island and end up at the Island Park by the Orchid House, where we're having a celebratory picnic under the Cuban laurel trees. Enjoy food, fun, and a cappella doo-wop provided by the group Burl Cream. We'll have Shell Point buses and golf carts running all day, so take advantage of it. And by the way, because of the festivities, the shopping bus that normally runs on Mondays will be rescheduled for tomorrow. So call the service desk if you have any questions. And this evening, the Crystal Room is also saluting our veterans with a Veterans Day dinner celebration. Enjoy special food, decor, and music by Stan Mlezko. So visit the Crystal Room this evening from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We love to salute our military veterans here at Shell Point. For example, last week, Bud Keim of the Pavilion celebrated his 95th birthday. Hope Hospice arranged for an honor guard to mark the occasion. Bud is originally from St. Leonard's, Maryland, and served 4 years in the Army during World War II. Afterwards, he became an engineer working on radar targeting systems for planes. Do you have a loved one in the pavilion who you think deserves an honor guard presentation? Contact Hope Hospice and they can arrange to make it happen. And what about you? We know many of you are veterans and have stories from your time in the service, whether they were heroic times or just everyday duties. Tomorrow we continue our salute to heroes with a special Get to Know Your Neighbor event for all military veterans. Bring out your war stories, paraphernalia, uniforms, photos, and more, and get to know your fellow veterans at this grand event tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Now on to more of today's news. If you struggle with vision issues, we have people here at Shell Point who can help. Caitlin Kramer-Smith has been a guest on this show, and she's coming tomorrow to discuss practical tips on living with low vision. It's part of the Vision Enrichment Group, who have their first meeting tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. All are welcome to this informative event. If you have any questions about the Vision Enrichment Group, call Angie Pritchard at 454-2134 or Sandy Weber at 225-2929. We'd also like to announce a change in our weekly schedule. Lilly & Company, the Sanibel jewelers who visit Shell Point each Wednesday, are changing the time at which they visit. Because it's impossible to travel during rush hour on Sanibel, they will now come to Shell Point every Wednesday morning, starting at 8:45 a.m. in the Resident Activity Center on the island. Now, if you haven't ever visited Lilly & Company on Sanibel, you're missing out. But don't worry, because in the upcoming weeks, you have a chance to visit their shop on Sanibel or attend a tea party they're hosting right here at Shell Point. Bev Chandley and Leslie Brand visited Lilly & Company to bring us this preview.
Hey Bev, come here. Come look at this.
What you got? What you got?
We've got all kinds of things. Let's look at the diamonds and the silver and the gold and the pearls. Wow.
This is amazing. I had no idea they had such a selection here.
Me either. I just want all this fabulous jewelry that Lilly & Company has.
They do a nice job here. They have their own designers, and then they have outside designers as well, I've heard.
And they even have paw prints for the dogs. And
well, the dogs need to have their bling.
That is true. They have great stuff here.
I like the bracelets. I'm a bracelet person.
Look at those flower earrings.
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
I can't wait, and it's coming so soon.
What's coming so soon?
You haven't heard?
No, I haven't heard. What's going on?
The event on November 19th at the Social Center on the island. We're having Lily and Company come out for a ladies' night out. We're having all sorts of jewelry from different designers come out and display it all over the Social Center. It starts at 5:15 to 6:45. You don't want to miss it. It will be a great time.
Will they be able to buy jewelry at this event?
Of course. You can come in, out, whatever you want to do. Look at the jewelry. We'll have refreshments, a couple hors d'oeuvres at the end.
Sounds great.
Yeah, well, we can't wait. You better be there.
You said you were bringing Lily and Company to Shell Point for an event?
I am.
When is that?
November 19th.
November 19th. I'm bringing Shell Point here to Lily and Company, here on Sanibel Island on December 12th.
What a coincidence.
So they can come here, see all the jewelry that they didn't see at your event, and they can try this stuff on. Where can you go to buy fine jewelry and pet dogs at the same time?
I can't believe they have dogs here.
I love this place. This is wonderful. They're having a brunch, and we're coming out about 11 o'clock. We're going to get here. It's like a finger food brunch, and they'll be able to check out all the fine jewelry they have here at Lily and Company, gift items, that sort of thing. Should be great.
That's a great idea.
I think this is a jewelry kind of Christmas this year.
It is. Better get all those presents for your loved ones with Lily and Company.
Shell Point and Lily and Company
is a winning combination. Sign up today.
On this Veterans Day, we salute everyone who wore the uniform. Herb Wilcox of Royal Bonnet wore 3 of them, serving in the Navy, Marines, and Army. His war story is a unique one. He spent the Korean War in Italy in a little town called Trieste. We asked Herb to tell us about serving on the front lines of the Cold War.
During World War II, and as a kid, 17, you could join the Navy, which I did. And I thought they'd let me get out of high school sooner, but they didn't. They said, no, you must stay until you graduate, which I did. And I ended up in boot camp in Great Lakes, north of Chicago, when they dropped the bomb and the war ended. I got the GI Bill. I went to Bucknell University, where I met my wife. And halfway through, the Korean War started, and they called me into the Army. So I was a drill instructor for a while. And although I had degrees in engineering, and I could have done that, I volunteered to go to infantry officer candidate school, which was rather stupid, since most infantry officer graduates were going directly to Korea. Oddly enough, I got orders to go to Europe, to Trieste.
Tiny, restless Trieste, free territory on the Adriatic Sea, long coveted by Yugoslavia and Italy.
Italy, as you know, is a long boot down into Sicily, and the very northern part borders on Austria and at the time on Yugoslavia. Way around the corner, about 85 miles east of Venice, is this beautiful city called Trieste. It's an Italian city. It had been captured 8 different times by foreign forces, including Napoleon, I guess, did it 3 times. You know, he never learned. And it had been the only seaport for the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which is very huge and very important. 2 years before the official end of the Second World War, the whole nation of Italy became a country occupied by the Nazis, by the Germans. Finally, as the war ended, there was a guy by the name of Marshal Tito, a communist general from Yugoslavia, and his troops moved into the city of Trieste, which had been Italian at the time.
Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia bluntly demands that Trieste city continue as a free port and the surrounding area be swallowed up by his country. In a show of strength, he orders troops and tanks to the Yugoslav border.
The American 88th Infantry Division moved in, and one of the regiments, mine, the 351st, we were the ones that were garrisoned in Trieste, and we were on the front line. Trieste United States Troops, it was called. But actually, it was not part of Italy, it was part of the United Nations. They took it over because it was in some sort of battle as to who really owned it. So it was really, we were, in effect, United Nations troops holding that city. We had loaded weapons pointed down at the border. We could see the border, anti-tank weapons, and the Yugoslavs had theirs. And every once in a while, I guess just because everybody was bored, you could look over the border with your binoculars, and the Yugoslavs get all their tanks together and come as fast as they could at the border. And I would have to tell my guys, okay, lock and load, we're ready. And they'd slam on their brakes when they hit the border. Glad they didn't have any brake problems. Occasionally there would be a few riots down in Trieste because there were a lot of communists there. So our battalion would put on our gear and walk down and march in, and with chrome-plated bayonets, we would go in and calm the populace. Now, a lot of them were very thankful that they were there, but you always had the agitators. We did a lot of winter training in Austria. It was rough. It was, why, I don't know, but they always put us on top of a mountain. And we had to haul all the stuff up there. And the peculiar thing is that it didn't snow in Trieste, but we were in the snow for 2 months out of the year. I guess it kept us in good shape. We really didn't know what we were doing. We were part of a play, and it was on a much higher level. We were like spear carriers in an opera. We didn't know what was going on. It was a militarily untenable situation. From our outpost to the Adriatic Sea, which was all downhill, was about 15 miles. And if the Yugoslav army with their tanks had wanted to cross the border, we were outmanned, they couldn't have stopped us, and we would have been driven into the sea in about 2 hours. And there I had a wife. She and other officers' wives, there was a displaced persons camp down there because there were people still wandering around after World War II. They didn't have a country, they didn't know where they were. And so the wives would go down and work in the displaced persons camp with the people there, you know, the children and wives. And so she was quite busy, they all were. One of our orders was to keep a suitcase packed at all times. Not even pack it, but keep it packed in the hallway because you were going to leave, but we couldn't figure out what we were going to leave on. But that was part of it. And so in many ways it was sort of a show because we were spit and polish. We were the prime organization there. We had even our mess kits and canteens, and as I say, our bayonets were chromium plated. We had special uniforms, and we would march through the city. And in general, it was just, we were partly show, partly fighting on the border, and partly up in the snow in the mountains. And the odd thing was, we had our daughter was born there at the 7th Station Hospital, still there. You know, we didn't have cell phones or anything else. We didn't telephone our parents, mail came. But as a bunch of us were leaving, we were getting on a ship, and there was a photographer from the Associated Press. And they took a picture of my wife and I and the baby, who was 7 weeks old. And it went back by wire to the States. And my parents and my in-laws knew about us coming back 2 weeks before we did. And then finally, about 2 months after my wife and our baby and I left, they signed an agreement and they gave it to Italy, and things were pretty good. The city is a fabulous city. It's beautiful. Has 3 or 4 castles. And I wanted to show each of my kids where we were, and they thought it was a pretty cool place. Later on, I finally got to take my daughter, who was born there, to go back and see where she was born. The people of Trieste, particularly my generation, and the people in this little town of Opicina, for us, we were their heroes. They still do. I went to this little town in Opicina, and they found out I was one of the troopers. I couldn't buy lunch or a drink. They were feeding us all the time. And it's just, it's a wonderful thing, but it doesn't happen very often. The most famous speech, or one of them that Churchill gave in I can almost say from memory, it was called From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic. An iron curtain has descended across the continent. And of course, we were in Trieste and we were holding the other end of the Iron Curtain.
Coming up, David Howenstein brings us a preview of his Veterans Day radio program on Channel 13.
Listening to the Words focuses this week on veterans. Several Marines report from the battlefield of Afghanistan. A soldier writes of the continual need for water in the jungles of Vietnam. Then, looking into the history of Kilroy was here. 2 pieces on what happens to our returning servicemen and women and how bad becomes good. A Shell Point resident shares her father's poem, hitting the highlights from 1775 to 1928. And finally, Terence Flannery draws you in by reading one of his fascinating stories. David Howenstein thanking you for listening to the Words.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and this is Leslie Brand, and we're going to go over the activities that we've got for you today, as well as tell you a little bit about our Festival of Heroes program. It does start today, and we do have a lot going on, so you want to make sure you tune in and participate. We have a parade and a picnic, and the Wall of Heroes will be set up in the Resident Activity Center all week long, so make sure you get out there and participate. We're going to start this morning at 8 o'clock with the mobile mammography van at the Village Church. They'll be there from 8 to 5 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, there's men's match play, double tennis at the tennis courts. At 9:15, billiards will be played at the Resident Activity Center. Also at 9:15, we have pottery with instruction available at the Pottery Studio. Then we have a last 9:15 activity. This is virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center. At 10 o'clock, the Susie Q will head to Matanzas Pass for lunch. A sign-up is required for that at the Island Greeters Desk. At 10:30, the Disciple Men's Bible Study Group will be in the game room of the Woodlands. At 10:30, it's time for the Hometown Hero Parade. That's going to be all the way around the island, so make sure you find your spot along the island road and enjoy the parade. 10:45, there is table tennis clinic going on in the Tarpon Room. And then at 11 o'clock, our Heroes Salute picnic will be at the Island Park down along the canal by the Orchid House. Ticket is required. Make sure you grab one if you haven't yet. Our last morning activities at 11:30, we have a Health Connections Agility and Flexibility class in the Health Club. That's currently full. Now here's Leslie to tell you what's going on this afternoon.
Thank you, Bev. At 12 o'clock, we have Mahjong in the Sable Room in the Woodlands. 1 o'clock is the Health Connections Balanced Basics Assisted Living in the Community Room in King's Crown, but it is closed. 1:15 is Scrabble in the Library Lounge. Also at 1:15, we have table tennis in the Tarpon Room. And lastly, at 1:15 is Tone Chimes in the Osprey Room. 1:30, we have Model Train Room in the Train Room on the island. It goes until 3:30. At 1:45, it's the Health Connections Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 in the Health Club on the island, but it is also closed. 2 o'clock is the BDI Bead Club in the Oak Room in the Woodlands. 3 o'clock, we have another Health Connections Pilates Stretch in the Health Club. 3:15, don't miss the Shell Point Singers Rehearsal in the Choir Room. And 4 o'clock, we have a special Veterans Dinner celebration at the Crystal Dining Room from 4 to 7. 6:30 is the Duplicate Bridge in the Game Room. Also at 6:30, we have the Beginner Square Dancing in the Health Club on the island. 7 o'clock is regular square dancing in the Health Club on the island. Thank you for tuning in with us today, and we hope you have a great Veterans Day.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolaf with our Academy information from Monday, November 11th, and I'd like to say a special thank you for every veteran and everyone who has supported them. At 9:15, we will be having a Gmail class in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. At 10:15, the Anatomy of Words class continues in the Buttonwood Room at the Woodlands, and they welcome everyone. At 10:15, Talking is the new typing. This will take place in the Manatee Room on the island for those who have signed up. Tomorrow we have a new computer college class, Skype Basics. We also have Islam, its Origins, Growth, and Future, Session 2 of Professor Adrian Kerr's 2-session program.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is vegetable lasagna with garlic bread and green beans. The dinner special is the Veterans Day Buffet, and the soup of the day is vegetarian chili. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Monday, enjoy a turkey, ham, and Swiss panini with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is an open-faced tuna melt with avocado and bacon and a cup of soup for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods. And this week, as we celebrate the heroes among us, you've been aware in the reading of Shell Point Life of the various activities that are marking the week coming up here in our community as we celebrate those whom we love, those who have inspired and encouraged us in a special way, the heroes in our lives. Well, next Wednesday night on November 13th, we as a church invite you to join us as the whole community gathers here at the Village Church for a special service, a celebration service of remembrance and honor. This will be a candlelight celebration of remembrance and honor of the loved ones in our lives, people who inspire us, people maybe who have lived something out in us, have given us something that is more than tangible. They have encouraged our lives, they've motivated us and inspired us in a special way, or through their life, they have become a hero because of an action or a sacrifice that they have made. As we gather at the church on Wednesday night, we're going to gather around tables shaped in the symbol of a star with candles all over. And we'll take time, the church staff will be sharing personal comments of remembrance and honor as we give tribute to those in our lives who are our heroes. But there'll be a table with many candles, and each person in attendance will be invited to come and to light a candle and to remember and honor the hero in your life. As we gather together, it'll be a beautiful scene as the candles become lit, the room is brightened as we remember and give tribute to the special people in our lives, those who we honor, those whom we remember, and we celebrate. There'll be music. Pastor Andy Hawkins will have some inspirational words. And we'll have a time of prayer and remembrance. But join us as we give tribute in this special week here on Wednesday night. Be part of the special candlelight celebration of remembrance and honor as we indeed honor and remember the heroes in our lives. That's Wednesday night at 7:15 here at the Village Church.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as our Medicare Billing Department discusses how you can make changes during Medicare's open enrollment period. We'll also talk to Joseph Jolmius, whose travels to Haiti are the focus of a special Academy event coming this week. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Monday, November 11th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.